48 is only one sentence long, but it is not short on controversy. Amendment 48, or the definition of a person measure, states that the term person or persons shall include any human from the time of fertilization. Now, pro-life advocates generally believe the fetus becomes a life the second an egg is fertilized. Should a fertilized egg be considered a person at the point of conception? Christy Burton, the author of the bill, says she's trying to establish when life begins. But pro-choice activists argue that if Amendment 48 is passed, then it could restrict women's health care, outlaw emergency contraception use, and tie up the court system. They also argue that such an amendment could ultimately lead to an end, the end of the landmark Roe v. Wade decision. This 1973 ruling gave women the right to have an abortion up until the time a fetus became viable or at approximately 28 weeks of pregnancy. Now, former University of Colorado football star and United States Supreme Court Justice Byron Raymond White played a central role in the Roe decision, casting one of the most noted dissents in the court's history. White deplored the decision, arguing that it values the convenience, whim, or caprice of the putative mother more than the life or potential life of the fetus. Amendment 48 is considered one of the most controversial proposed amendments in state history. I'm Julie Brauman for Altitude. Blake, back to you.
Julie, thank you very much. Supporting 48 this evening, Christy Burton, Colorado for Equal Rights, Personhood, Colorado. Opposing 48, Vicki Cowart, President and CEO, Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountains. Christy, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you so much. Amendment 48 is indeed a simple one-sentence amendment. It recognizes the advances in modern medical science. We know today what we didn't know 35 years ago. Today, every embryology textbook across our nation, in every medical university, states that human life begins at the moment of conception. At that moment, a new, unique individual has been created. And those aren't my words. Those are the words of modern medical science. And that's what's amazing about Amendment 48, is that we can put into our law modern science. This is something that doctors across Colorado agree with. I've had doctors come up to me and say, you know, Amendment 48 really is simple. The claims of the opposition are simply far-fetched. They're getting into a lot of claims that simply aren't true. Amendment 48 is simple, it's one sentence, and it's a definition of person in our Constitution. It would include every unborn child in our fundamental rights as defined in Colorado's Constitution. One of the great things about Amendment 48 is that it empowers the citizens of Colorado. It allows us to direct our elected officials and our courts on how to manage important life issues that matter to all of us. I know I'm not just speaking for myself when I say we're tired of having special interest groups control important life issues that matter to you and to me. Our opposition represents quite a compilation of special interest groups. For example, Planned Parenthood. Nationally, they have a budget of $1 billion, and 1/3 of that comes from our hard-earned tax dollars. I think it's time to stop those kind of groups from controlling the issue and instead allow the citizens of Colorado to have a chance to depoliticize the issue, to take it back into our hands, and to direct our legislators and tell them how to protect every human life. Amendment 48 stands for the statement that every person counts, every life is valuable, and we need to do something to stand up for that in Colorado. I think we can all agree life has been cheapened in our society, and Amendment 48, voting yes on Amendment 48, is a great way to ensure that every person, no matter what age, is protected by our most foundational laws. Vote yes on Amendment 48.
Christy, thank you very much. Vicki, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Amendment 48 defines the term person to grant a fertilized egg full legal rights under our state constitution. We must vote no on Amendment 48 because if it passes, someday your mother, your sister, your best friend may face a medical emergency during which the doctor who treats her will have to treat her and her condition equally with that of a fertilized egg, showing no distinction between the two and potentially endangering her life or her health. We must vote no on Amendment 48 because it puts government, lawyers, and courts in the most deeply personal and private family health matters that we can imagine. The devastating medical consequences of Amendment 48 are why Planned Parenthood and many other medical organizations within the state are coming out against Amendment 48. Groups like the Colorado Medical Society, the Colorado Academy of Family Physicians, the Colorado Gynecological and Obstetrical Society, all of these groups oppose Amendment 48. And they represent over 7,000 doctors who treat thousands and thousands of people every day. They are speaking for their own expertise and they are speaking for their patients, and they do not want government in between them and their patients. Besides the overwhelming medical reasons against Amendment 48, there are devastating legal consequences. Amending the Constitution is very serious business. This amendment will insert politicians and the government into our private family matters. The term person appears in Colorado statutes over 20,000 times. That's why, just recently, the Colorado Bar Association has come out against Amendment 48. The Colorado Bar Association urges people to vote no on Amendment 48. And there are about 79 other organizations in our group that urge you to vote no on Amendment 48.
Vicki, thank you very much. 1 minute for rebuttal. Christy.
Thank you. Amendment 48 truly is a simple amendment that recognizes modern medical science. To call a new human being a fertilized egg is simply a dehumanizing term. Our medical textbooks state that at the moment of conception, a new unique individual, a human being, has been created. And it is up to us as members of Colorado's society to protect every human being, no matter what age. Unfortunately, our opposition has resorted to confusing scare tactics and telling the voters things that simply aren't true. They refuse to admit the truth that human life begins at the moment of conception. And instead, they continue to fabricate scare tactics to confuse the voters because instead of telling the truth, they want to continue their billion-dollar industry. We need to say it's time to value life. It's enough of special interest groups controlling the issues that matter to us. We as the citizens of Colorado need to take this into our hands. Amendment 48 is the people's amendment. It gives us a chance to have a voice and to protect every person because every person truly counts. Every woman's life, every man's life, and every child's life. And that is what Amendment 48 recognizes. We are all valuable as people from the moment of our conception. Vote yes on Amendment 48.
Vicki, 1 minute for rebuttal.
Thanks. The attacks on the opponents of Amendment 48 don't really add much to your understanding of this amendment. I urge you to take a look at some of the many editorials across the state. Just today, the Denver Post and the Rocky Mountain News both came out with editorials urging you to vote no on 48, but also the Pueblo Chieftain, the Grand Junction Daily Sentinel, and many other newspapers across the Colorado. Good people across the state agree that this is really bad medicine, bad law, and bad policy. And let me correct you, we see many women at Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountains who come to us because they have Medicaid insurance, and I'm really proud that we're able to see them. We've been seeing Coloradans for over 90 years. That's why we support opposing Amendment 48. That's why we join with the many, many medical professionals and the many, many leaders in our legal community saying that this is bad law, bad medicine, bad policy. Vote no on 48.
Vicki Cowart, Christy Burton, thank you both so much for coming down. Have a great week, ladies. You are watching